Hi, my name is Ashley Varner, and for this video, I will be discussing my assessment target student in grades K through 6. I named him John Doe, so we'll start off with his first formal assessment. He has 3 formal assessments that were given and 1 informal. The first would be the Reynolds Intellectual Assessment Scale. This is a test given to determine his cognitive abilities, to see where he's at intellectually. So in other words, this is simply an IQ test. This test can be given to students, or not even students, but individuals ages 3 to however old. You could be 100 years old, and as long as you're cognitive enough to take it, then you can take an IQ test. So there are 3 domains, if you will, in the Reynolds Intellectual Assessment. So in the Verbal Intellectual Index, John Doe scored it a 75. Now this is well below average in this category. The other domain was a Nonverbal Intelligence Index, and he scored 99, which was in the average range, so that is good. So that made his overall composite score an 85, which is good. That's an average range. That's not low in any means. However, that verbal intellectual or verbal intelligence index scoring at that well below average, that tells us that John Doe is capable of learning. He is capable of processing information. However, he's got some intellectual traits that he's not able to perform in the classroom at the expected achievement levels when he's exposed to regular teaching strategies. So in other words, John Doe can learn these different concepts that we're trying to teach him. We just need to change our delivery methods maybe, or make it to where he can have some modifications on assignments. Okay, now that test was mainly intellectual and cognitive. This next formal assessment was based on educational domains. It's called the Kaufman Test of Educational Achievement. It was the 3rd edition. It's designed for students grades 1 through 12, and it is meant to pick up on the domains that in the content areas that each student struggles in expressly. So for John Doe, his content area that was picked up when he took the KTEA was his written expression. So when reading back through his initial referral, his teacher referred him because he was having trouble advancing in his phonics. So reading multisyllabic words, or reading words with R-controlled vowels, or with digraphs or beginning blend sounds, things like that. He was struggling with that. And the KTEA, what was so interesting to me was that it picked up that written expression because the student, he's not able to get what's going on up here down on paper because he can't spell. He can't write it out. He can't get it out because his phonological deficiency is keeping him from being able to write it out, to be able to have that written expression that we would expect from a 4th grade student, because he is in the 4th grade. The 3rd formal assessment that was given was the Adaptive Behavior Assessment Scale, the 2nd edition. We call this ABAS for short. So it's a formal exam for students from 1st grade to 12th grade. And what it is we give a form to the parents and we give a form to the teachers, and they have to fill this out. They score the student based on different domains. It tells, once they get finished, they tell, the scores will tell what the students are at risk in, like different areas. And then we go off of that. So we like to tell parents and teachers, when you're rating your student, so it's on a rating scale of like cannot do, can do with some help, can do with mild help, little help, or can do by own self. So when it comes to this, we like to tell them, do not score your student based on what you know he or she can do. Score them based on what a child their age, without any disability, without any impairments, can do. So compared to another student, if they cannot do this, then don't even say, can do with a little bit of help if I go and help them. No, if they can't do it, they can't do it. And that's what you need to choose. Because if you don't score it correctly, there can be some serious discrepancies in the results and in what the child can actually do. So we like to make sure to explain that to parents. So on this, the John Doe was at risk in the following areas. So in communication, self-direction, social skills, and inattentive behaviors. So I noticed when I was observing John Doe that he wasn't able to direct himself quite accurately. So I had to constantly redirect. And not only myself, because I was in the room helping the teacher had to constantly redirect. The communication area, I noticed that because he didn't like to talk a lot in class. He maybe talked a couple of times to some buddies of his, but as far as talking to me, talking to his teacher, there was a lack of confidence maybe, or of just knowing how to communicate with them. And so that also went in with his social skills and his inattentive behaviors. He liked to stare off into the distance. So I did notice that quite a bit. All right, the informal assessment that John Doe was given, our district uses the iReady curriculum. That's what it's called, iReady. And at the beginning of every year, we do a diagnostic, and it places students based on their abilities. So it's designed to test students using multiple reading domains. And I chose to do the reading test, the reading diagnostic, instead of the math diagnostic, because this student does not qualify for math services at all. In fact, he's thriving in math. He's doing very well in it. It's just the reading content area that he's struggling with. So this reading diagnostic was designed to test using multiple domains, such as like vocabulary, comprehension, fluency, phonics, phonological awareness, phonological processing, high frequency words, things like that. So if a student does above and beyond, it'll say students in 4th grade and they're working at 6th grade level, it's going to tell me the student is working at 6th grade level in this domain. And so the test actually adapts to their abilities. So if they keep getting questions wrong, keep getting them wrong, no matter how many times it changes it up, it'll automatically just say the test is over with, and it'll say this is your grade level that you scored at. If, let's say, you have a student who's very high level and they are scoring at maybe a 6th grade level, it will tell me that. So for John Doe, he was able to distinguish individual sounds in spoken words, and so he was exempt from taking the phonological awareness subtest, which was fantastic for him. However, in phonics, he scored at a kindergarten level, and he's in the 4th grade. So this definitely came out. It showed that he wasn't able to read multisyllabic words, words that were R-controlled, or words that had silent letters, things like that. So John Doe also tested out of high frequency words. So these are words he sees every day and he can read them. And that's fantastic because that's what we want. So from those, we can tell that John Doe really needs some extra help in phonics and in his writing skills. And that's what we want to give with our interventions for him. We want to make sure we take the data from all these tests and we want to use them to the best of our ability to make sure that he is getting the services he needs so that he can flourish and thrive in the general educational setting.